Now, today let us see about the next experiment, that is the experiment number 6. Okay, experiment number 6 we have today. So, today we will perform the next experiment, that is experiment number 6, that is aim to synthesize and submit benzotriazole. Okay, to synthesize and submit benzotriazole, another heterocyclic compound. To synthesize and submit benzotriazole, and also you have to determine its percent yield and melting point. Okay, so today we will perform this experiment, that is to synthesize and submit benzotriazole. Okay, that is experiment number 6. Now for that experiment, let us see the next part, that is the procedure. So look at the procedure. Now into the procedure, first of all you have to take 250 ml capacity of beaker. You have to take 250 ml capacity of beaker. In that, first of all you have to add 30 ml of water. So you have to add first 30 ml of water in 250 ml of beaker. Okay. After that you have to add 11.5 ml of glycol acetic acid. Okay. Then you have to add 11.5 ml of glycol acetic acid to this beaker, which contains 30 ml of water. Okay. After that, additions of 11.5 ml of glycol acetic acid. Then you have to shake the beaker, or you have to stir the beaker, or you can shake the beaker. Okay, so after shaking, the water and glycol acetic acid will mix completely. Okay, so after shaking this mixture of glycol acetic acid with water, after that then you have to add 10.8 gram of orthophenylene diamine. Okay, so then you have to add 10.8 gram of orthophenylene diamine. Okay, so after that you have to add accurately weigh 10.8 gram of orthophenylene diamine. Okay, diamine. You have to add orthophenylene diamine. Okay, into this solution. Okay, orthophenylene diamine you have to add 10.8 gram into this solution. Okay, of glycol acetic acid. Okay, after additions, the solids will not dissolve. So you have to crush it and you have to stir it by stirrer by the use of stirrer. Then some part of the orthophenylene diamine solids will dissolve. Okay, and some will not dissolve. Okay, so the undissolved solids you have to slightly warm on heating on water bath. Okay, so you have to warm the further mixture on water bath, and it should be slightly warm. Okay, to dissolve the orthophenylene diamine solid crystals. Okay, so after this slightly warming this solution mixture, so the orthophenylene diamine will dissolve. Okay, so after dissolution you get the clear solution, means all the solids will dissolve, so you get the solution. Okay, now after getting this clear solution, you have to cool on room temperature first. Then you have to maintain the temperature 10 degree centigrade of this solution. Okay, so after the boil down the temperature at 30 to 40 degree on room temperature, then you have to place this solution on ice water bath. Okay, and then you have to maintain the temperature about 10 degree centigrade of this solution. Okay, by using thermometer you have to measure the temperature. It should be 10 or below 10 degree centigrade. Okay, so after that 10 degree temperature if you maintain, the next step it is during the temperature. Okay, during the maintaining the temperature you have to stir this solution properly. So you have to stir this solution also properly. Okay, so after stirring, okay, and after 10 degree temperature of this solution, then you have to make the solution in another beaker. Okay, so after that you have to make the solution, that is you have to take another beaker. Okay, and in this beaker you have to add NaNO2 solution, that is the sodium nitrate solution. Okay, into this beaker. So you have to prepare the another solution, that is the sodium nitrate solution. Okay, so in that you have to take 250 ml of the beaker. Okay, and you have to add 7.5 gram of sodium nitrate. Okay, so weigh accurately 7.5 gram of sodium nitrate crystals or solids. Then you have to add into the 250 ml of the beaker. Then you have to add 15 ml of water. Then you have to mix this sodium nitrate well in water. Okay, so after shaking, after mixing, okay, so you have to add this sodium nitrate solution in one portion in our first solution of this orthophenylene diamine solution. That temperature it is 10 degree centigrade and below 10 degree, and at that time you have to add this sodium nitrate solution into this first number beaker of orthophenylene diamine. Okay, then after additions in one portion you have to stir, you have to shake it properly. Okay, so after the addition and after the stirring, after few minutes the temperature will be rise up to 85 degree centigrade of this mixture. Okay, and the color will be, after the rising the temperature, the color will be changed. Okay, and it becomes dark brown. It becomes dark brown. The temperature it is 85 degrees centigrade. Okay, and after few minutes the temperature will be fall down up to 30 to 40 degrees centigrade. Okay, then the color of the solution will be pale brown. Okay, so dark brown it will be rise temperature, and after fall down temperature, so color will be pale brown. Okay, so after giving pale brown this color, then you have to maintain, or you have to again stay for 2 minutes. Then your temperature of the solution will also fall down for 30 to 40 degrees centigrade. So after that you have to cool this pale brown solution on ice bath for further 30 minutes. Okay, then cool on ice bath for further 30 minutes. Okay, so after further 30 minutes, during the 30 minutes you have to shake it time to time or occasionally. Okay, and after the 15 or 20 minutes you have to scratch the wall of the beaker. You have to scratch the wall of the beaker. Okay, so that it forms the seedling process. Okay, or we can say it is the formation of the seedling process, in that the another maximum amount of crops of the crystal will be developed after the seedling. Means if you scratch the walls of this particular beaker of the solution, and if you add some crystals from this particular wall of the beaker into the solution, mother liquor, so immediately the crystal growth will develops. Okay, and you get the maximum amount of crystals within 20 to 25 minutes after cooling on ice bath. Okay, so after the cooling on 30 minutes, after the end of this benzotriazole, it will be formed. Okay, so after formation of the benzotriazole, so it will be pale brown in solid. That will be pale brown in solid. So that will be your benzotriazole. Okay, so after the formation of benzotriazole, that is the pale brown crude benzotriazole, so this solids we have to filter it by filtration, and after filtration you get the solids from the filter paper. Okay, and these solids you have to then recrystallize. You have to then recrystallize. Okay, you have to then recrystallize. Okay, by using the solvent, that is the water. Okay, in 130 ml of water you have to add all the crystals or all the solids of the benzotriazole, and then add some few amounts of grams of the activating charcoal, then boil. Okay, after boiling you get the solution. Okay, after that you have to also add some crystals of this benzotriazole or crude benzotriazole into that boiled solution. Okay, during the boiling, then after that you get the clear solution. Okay, after boiling, and after that you have to filter it. After filtration, then you have to take the filter, and the filter should be then cool. Okay, so after cooling the filtrate, you get again crystals. Okay, and these crystals will be for the benzotriazole, that is the pure benzotriazole. Okay, so that will be your active compound, and after that we will go for the next, that is the melting point. Okay, before recrystallization, after recrystallization, you have to perform the melting points of the benzotriazole. Okay, so after doing practicals, you will get the practically. Okay, then calculate the percent practically, and you have to also perform the calculations. Okay, after that there is a result. Okay, so this is about the procedures of the particular benzotriazole synthesis. Okay, now after that let us see the next part, that is the reactions and mechanism. Okay, so let us see the next part, that is the reactions and mechanism. Okay, of this synthesis of the benzotriazole. Now let us see the first of all chemical reaction of synthesis of benzotriazole. Okay. Now into the chemical reaction we are using orthophenyl diamine. Now this orthophenyl diamine, it reacted with basically sodium nitrite as well as the acetic acid. Okay. and in that there is a generation of that is the HNO2, that is nitrous acid. There is a formation of nitrous acid when the particular acetic acid react with this particular orthophenylene diamine. Okay, acetic acid and orthophenylene diamine, they will there is a generation of sorry the particular sodium nitrite and acetic acid, they will form the HNO2, that is the nitrous acid. Okay, now this nitrous acid then reacted with orthophenylene diamine and we get the benzotriazole. Okay, so first of all there is a dissociation or there is a reaction between the acetic acid and NaNO2, that is the sodium nitrite. Acetic acid, sodium nitrate will react to each other and formations of this nitrous acid. Okay, also formation of the sodium acid. Okay, so first of all look at here, reaction between the glycol acetic acid and the NaNO2, that is the sodium nitrate. Okay, so into glycol acetic acid carbon oxygen, okay, are present and hydrogen is present. So oxygen it is negatively charged, hydrogen it is positively charged, because it is acetic acid, it is an acid, so it will donate proton. So it will donate this hydrogen as proton. Okay, and on the other hand we have the NaNO2, that is the sodium nitrate. In that sodium positively charged and this NO2 nitro group it is negatively charged. Okay, so this hydrogen it is attracted by this NO2. Okay, positive proton it is attracted by this base NO2 negative, nitro group negative. Okay, so it becomes HNO2. Okay, so there is a formation of this HNO2, that is the nitric acid. Okay, on the other hand, after the removal of this hydrogen, this oxygen it is electron rich. Okay, so it will be access base, so it will be attached to electron diffusion or it is positively charged sodium. Okay, CS3COO negatively charged, it will be attached to sodium positive. Okay, so it will combine and it will form the salt, it is called as the sodium acid, CS3COONA. Okay, sodium acetate it is formed. Okay, so in this way there is a generation of nitrous acid. Now this nitrous acid now this nitrous acid will react with orthophenylene diamine, so we get the benzotriazole. Okay, so first of all there is a removal of two water molecules, will be removed. Okay, so first of all you can see two hydrogens from this amino group, one hydrogen from this amino group. Okay, so total 3. Okay, and one it is from this nitrous acid. Okay, so total 4 hydrogens are removed, as well as these 2 oxygens will remove. Okay, so 2 hydrogens from this nitro group, 1 hydrogen from this nitro group, total 3, and 1 hydrogen from nitric acid. Okay, nitrous acid, so 4 hydrogen and 2 oxygen from nitrous acid, they will remove as. Now after the reaction between the glycol acetic acid and the sodium nitrate, okay, it forms nitrous acid as well as the sodium acetate. Okay, in that in that the nitrous acid will react with this orthophenylene diamine to get the benzotriazole. Okay, in this reaction these 2 hydrogens from amino group, 1 hydrogen from this amino group. Okay, so total 3, and 1 it is from the nitrous acid, so total 4 hydrogens, and 2 oxygen from this nitrous acid. Okay, they will remove as water molecules. Okay, and the remaining is that this hydrogen give lone pair of electron on this nitrogen, so this nitrogen is electron rich. Okay, and this hydrogen also give lone pair of electron on this nitrogen, so this nitrogen also electron rich. Okay, so electron rich 2 nitrogens, and this nitrogen now electron deficient because 2 hydrogen will remove along with the bonded electrons. So this nitrogen is attached to this electron rich nitrogen, also one part of this nitrogen attached to this electron rich nitrogen. Okay, so there is a formation of the cyclic structure and formation of the double bond between this nitrogen and this one nitrogen. Okay, so in this way we get the benzotriazole, also removal of 2 water molecules. Okay, so this is about the chemical reactions of the synthesis of benzotriazole. Okay, after this chemical reaction, let us see the next part, that is the mechanism of this reaction. So let us see the mechanism. Now let us see the mechanism of this reaction. Okay, now into the mechanism, into the first step, this nitrous acid, okay, this nitrous acid, it is generated from step number 1, that is reaction between the glycolic acetic acid and sodium nitrate. There is a generation of this nitrous acid. This nitrous acid then reacted with orthophenylene diamine, okay, and so we get this condensed structure, okay. So first of all, here this nitrous acid contain nitrogen and oxygen double bond. This double bond break, lone pair of electrons shifted on oxygen, okay, and this nitrogen then electron division into the nitrous acid, okay. On the other hand, here the amino group contains nitrogen and nitrogen contains lone pair of electron, so it will be acts as base, so it will be attack on electron division nitrogen atom, okay. So in this way, this nitrous acid along with this electron division nitrogen, it will be attached on electron rich nitrogens of the amino group of orthophenylene diamine, okay. So this structure will attach to this nitrogen atom, so we get this condensed structure, okay. So we can see here formation of this condensed structure in that nitrogen along with OH and this oxygen attached to this nitrogen atom, okay. So we get this condensed structure. On the other hand, oxygen acquires negative charge because it takes lone pair of electron of the pi bonds from the nitrogen, so it acquires negative charge, okay. Now nitrogen acquires positive charge because it gives lone pair of electron for the formations of the single bond with this nitrogen, okay, and it is also bonded to four valencies, okay, that is 1 2 3 4, means one it is for carbon, another for nitrogen, two for the hydrogen. So due to the 4 valency, nitrogen acquires positive charge, okay. So we get this structure. Now this structure it is unstable. For stability, there is a proton transfer takes place, okay, that is this oxygen will attract this hydrogen, okay, from this nitrogen towards this oxygen, okay. So this oxygen will attract this hydrogen, so this oxygen become OH, okay, and this hydrogen give lone pair of electron on this electron deficient nitrogen to stabilize the positive charge, okay. So hydrogen give lone pair of electron on this nitrogen, okay. So we get this structure, that is OH group, means oxygen become OH, okay, and the nitrogen having that is the positive charge. Now it is having lone pair of electron, okay, the charge is stabilized, okay. So look at here, the nitrogen, another nitrogen contains positive charge because it is bonded because after the okay, this nitrogen it is positively charged, okay, when it becomes positively charged. Now there is no charge on this nitrogen. You can see this nitrogen attached to this nitrogen and this nitrogen attached to 2 oxygens of OH group, okay. So so nitrogen it is attached to 2 OH group, so one OH group will be removed, okay. So after the removal of this OH group, it takes lone pair of electron from nitrogen, then nitrogen acquires positive charge, okay. So this nitrogen then acquires positive charge, okay, and this nitrogens of this amino group contains lone pair of electron, so it will be attacked on electron deficient nitrogen atom. So this nitrogen will attack on electron deficient nitrogen atom, so there is a formation of ring structure. So here formation of ring structure you can see into this structure, okay. You get this structure in there is a formation of ring structure. Now this nitrogen attached to another nitrogen and we get the ring, okay, and here positive charge on nitrogen because it is bonded to 4 valencies, okay. Now there is a deprotonation takes place into this structure, that is this proton will be abstracted by this OH group which is generated into this OH group which is generated into this previous steps. The OH group will abstract one proton from this nitrogen, okay, so that this nitrogen will lone pair of electron to this electron deficient nitrogen to stabilize this charge on the positive charge on the nitrogen, okay. So this hydrogen will abstract by this OH strong base, so there is a removal of water molecules, okay. So after that we get this structure, okay. In that one hydrogen is removed from this nitrogen, so only one hydrogen is present and here OH group is present, okay. So the next step it is again the dehydration, that is the removal of water molecules, that is this OH group and this hydrogen they will remove as good living group, that is the water, okay. And this hydrogen give lone pair of electron to this nitrogen and this OH group takes lone pair of electron from this nitrogen. So nitrogen it is electron deficient, acquires positive charge, and this nitrogen it is electron rich. So they will form the nitrogen double bond, okay. So we get the final compound, that is the benzo triazole, okay. In that nitrogen double bond and we get the benzo triazole, okay. So this is about the mechanism, and this is about the reaction as well as the mechanism of synthesis of the benzotriazole. Okay. So after that, let us see the next part, that is the calculation part. Okay, now let us do the next part, that is the calculation. Okay, into the calculation, first part it is the calculation of theoretical yield. Okay, so for theoretical yield, let us do the calculation. So first of all, molecular weight of orthophenylene diamine. This is the structure of orthophenylene diamine. Okay, so you can see the molecular weight of orthophenylene diamine. That is, first of all, we will discuss the molecular formula. Molecular formula of orthophenylene diamine, that is C6H8N2. Okay, 6 carbon, 8 hydrogen, and 2 nitrogen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbon, and now hydrogen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8 hydrogen and 2 nitrogens. So let us calculate the molecular weight of this orthophenylene diamine. Okay, so carbon atomic weight it is 12. Okay, atomic weight. Okay, atomic weight it is 12, and 6 carbon are here. So 12 into 6 plus 1 for hydrogen, 1 into 8, 12 it is for it is 14 for the nitrogen. Okay, so 14 will be for nitrogen. So that will be 14 into 2. So total will be 108 gram per mole. Okay, so 12 into 6 plus 1 into 8, okay, plus 14 into 2, okay, is equal to 108 gram per mole. Okay, so this is the molecular weight for orthophenylene diamine. Okay, on the other hand, let us calculate the molecular weight of benzotriazole. In that, this is the structure of the benzotriazole, you can see. So molecular formula of the benzotriazole C6H5N3. Okay, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbon and 5 hydrogen, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is 5. Okay, 5 hydrogens, C6H5 and 3 nitrogens. Okay, so 12 atomic weight of the carbonic is 12 into 6. Okay, because 6 carbons are 1 it is for hydrogen, so 1 into 5. That is, after that 14 it is the molecular atomic weight of this nitrogen, so 4 into 3. So is equal to 119 gram per mole. Okay, so this is the molecular weight for benzotriazole. Okay, now orthophenylene diamine in procedure we have taken 10.8 gram. Okay, so for the weight of benzotriazole, how much will be required for X gram? Okay, so after the cross multiplication we get this formula, or we get this structure. Okay, so that is after the cross multiplication. 10.8 into 119 divided by 108. Okay, so calculate this particular theoretical yield. Okay, now do the cross multiplication, that is 108, that is 10.8 into 119 divided by 108. Okay, so do this calculation. 10.8 into 119 divided by 108, so total will be 11.9 gram. Okay, so the theoretical yield will be 11.9 gram. Okay, so this is the theoretical yield of the benzotriazole. Okay, so after the theoretical yield, let us do the percent practical yield. Okay. Okay, now after the theoretical yield, let us calculate the percent practical yield. Okay, now after the experiment performed, we have the actual weight of the benzotriazole. It is found to be 9.8 gram. Okay, so the actual weight of the final solids of the benzotriazole we get, that is 9.8 gram the weight. Okay, so this is the practical yield of our compound. Now after that we have calculated, that is the theoretical yield 11.9 gram. Okay, now let us do the calculation for percent practical yield. Okay, now the formula for percent practical yield, it is percent practical yield is equal to practical yield upon theoretical yield. Okay, into 100. Practical yield it is 9.8 gram, so 9.8 gram divided by theoretical yield, it is 11.9 gram, so it is 11.9 gram into 100. Okay, So after calculation, it is found to be 82.35%. Okay. So the percent practical yield of benzotriazole, it is found to be 82.35%. Okay. So this is the percent practical yield. Now after the percent practical yield, into the result you have to write down the particular name of the compound, structure of the compound, molecular formula of the compound, molecular weight of the compound, that is the benzotriazole. Also you have to write down the theoretical yield, percent practical yield and practical yield of the benzotriazole compounds. Okay. Also you have to write down the melting points. Okay. So melting points of benzotriazole before, okay, benzotriazole before the recrystallization, it is found to be, okay, near about 102 degree. Okay. And after that melting point after recrystallization, it is found to be near about, okay, 98 degree centigrade. Okay. Melting point before recrystallization, it is found to be 102 degree centigrade, and after that melting point after the recrystallization, it is found to be 90 degree centigrade of the benzotriazole. Okay. Now this is about melting point, and after that next is uses. What are the different uses? Okay. The benzotriazole, this basic structure moiety or basic ring, it is present in some compounds which is medicinal importance. So they have some uses. So it is used as antifungal, antihypertensive. Okay. It is used as antifungal, okay, antifungal, anti-hypertensive agents or drugs. Okay. Anti-hypertensive drugs. Okay. After that, it also have analgesic activity. Analgesic activity. Okay. So the basic moiety of the benzotriazole or structure, it is present in medicinal compounds which are used for the antifungal, which are used for the anti-hypertensive, okay, as well as the analgesic. Okay. So this is about the uses of the benzotriazole. Now this is about the 6 number experiment, that is to synthesize and submit benzotriazole, and this is the completions of the experiment, that is synthesis of benzotriazole. Okay. Now after the synthesis, after this theoretical part, okay, let us do the actual practicals of this particular synthesis of the benzotriazole. Okay, now let us do the practical. After the theoretical part, let us do the actual practical. Now today's aim, it is to synthesize and submit benzotriazole. Today we will perform the experiment, that is to synthesize and submit benzotriazole, okay, from orthophenylene diamine, okay, as well as sodium nitrite. Also we are using the glycol acetic acid. Okay. So let us do the practical. So as per the procedure, as we discuss, the synthesis of benzotriazole, okay, we have some chemicals. Okay, for the synthesis of benzotriazole, first of all we have some chemicals. So first of all we require orthophenylene diamine. Okay, so this is orthophenylene diamine. Okay, another chemical it is required, sodium nitrite. Okay, another, that is the activating charcoal for the recrystallization and heating with water or boiling with water, and after additions of charcoal there is a removal of impurity, we get the pure compound. So activating charcoal also required. After that we require the glycol acetic acid for the synthesis of benzotriazole. Okay, so these are the chemicals which are required for the synthesis of benzotriazole. Okay, this is our 6 number experiment. Now I have taken here 10.8 gram of orthophenylene diamine. Okay, I have weighed this accurately, 10.8 gram of orthophenylene diamine. Also I have taken the 7.5 gram of sodium nitrite. Okay, so 7.5 gram of sodium nitrite. Okay, now into the procedure, first of all, into the step number 1 or into the next step, okay, or we can see it into the first step. So into the procedure first step, first of all you have to take the mixture of that is the glycol acetic acid, that is the 11.5 ml of glycol acetic acid you have to put up into the beaker, or you have to add into the beaker. Then you have to add 30 ml of water. Okay, then you have to get this mixture. Okay, 11.5 gram 11.5 ml of glycol acetic acid and 30 ml of water you have to take into the 250 ml of beaker. Okay, so you get the this type of mixture. Okay, so to this mixture you have to add then 10.8 gram of orthophenylene diamine. Okay, after that you have to warm the solution if necessary. Okay, so after warming you get the clear solution, and after getting the clear solution then you have to cool it is at 10 degrees centigrade. Okay, so it will be, if you slightly warm the solution, then you have to cool the solution up to 10 degrees centigrade. Okay, so let us do this step. Okay, for that we have the practicals also, we have the apparatus also, we have the beaker, funnel for the filtration, also we have the measuring cylinder 50 ml capacity. Okay, also stirrer, also for measurement of the temperature we have the thermometer also. Okay, we have the thermometer. Okay, for the measurement of the temperature. Okay, so you can take 100 ml capacity of the thermometer. Okay, so all these apparatus are required for this experiment. Also for heating purpose we can heat the solutions of this heating mantle also, we have the heating mantle. Okay, also you can heat on the flame of the burner by using the tripod stand wire watch. Okay, so let us do the practical now. So first of all we will take 11.5 ml of the glycol acetic acid into 250 ml of beaker. Then I will add 30 ml of water. Okay, and after that I will add this 10.8 gram of orthophenylene diamine. Then I will stir it and mix it. Okay, and after I will warm it the solution until the solids will dissolve. Okay, so let us do this step. Okay, now I have taken 30 ml of water. Okay, this is 30 ml of water, you can see. Okay, and I have taken in measuring cylinder, that is 11.5 ml of this glycol acetic acid. Okay, 11 ml of glycol acetic acid. Now the next step, that is you have to add this 11.5 ml of glycol acetic acid into 30 ml of this water. Okay, I am adding this glycol acetic acid into 30 ml of water. Okay, now I have added this 11.5 ml of glycol acetic acid into the water. Okay, then you have to mix it properly. So I am mixing this glycol acetic acid and water mixture. Okay, so after mixing, okay, the glycol acetic acid, it is mixed with water well after the mixing or after the shaking. Now after that, next step you have to add that is 10.8 gram of orthophenylene diamine into this glycol acetic acid solution. Okay, so let us add this 10.8 gram of orthophenylene diamine, okay, into the glycol acetic acid solution. Okay, so let us add this orthophenylene diamine, okay, into this solutions of glycol acetic acid. So I am adding into one portion. So I have added this glycol acetic acid. Okay, I have added this I have added this orthophenylene diamine into glycol acetic acid. Then you have to stir it, mix well. Okay, so you have to dissolve it properly. Okay, you have to dissolve this orthophenylene diamine into glycol acetic acid solution till the solids will dissolve. Okay, so you have to dissolve this solid properly after stirring and after mixing by using stirrer, like this. Okay, so you have to stir it properly and you have to mix it orthophenylene diamine properly, so all solids will dissolve. Okay, after stirring. Now after stirring the orthophenylene diamine into the glycyl acetic acid solution, if the orthophenylene diamine solids are not dissolved properly, okay, if not dissolved well, so you can see there is a presence of these solids of the orthophenylene diamine at the bottom, okay. So then you have to warm it to dissolve the solids, okay. So let us do the warming, okay. Let's do the heating of this orthophenylene diamine solution so that the solids will be dissolved, okay. So let us warm or let us heat this solution until the solids will dissolve, okay. Let us do this step, next step. Now I am heating this solution on water bath for few minutes until the solids of orthophenylene diamine get dissolved, okay, on this heating mantle. So let us heat this solution for few minutes until the orthophenylene diamine solids will dissolve, okay. So let's warm this solution. You have to warm this solution until the solids of orthophenylene diamine will dissolve, okay. Now after warming this solution, okay, the solids of orthophenylene diamines are dissolved, okay. After some heating this orthophenylene diamine solids, it is dissolved, okay. So you can see it is dissolved, orthophenylene diamine solids are dissolved, okay. So after warming this solution, okay. Now after warming this orthophenylene diamine solution as well as the glycyl acetic acid solution, you can see, okay. So the orthophenylene diamine crystals are dissolved into this glycyl acetic acid after warming. Now do the next step. Now into the next step you have to cool this solution on ice bath, okay, and the temperature you have to maintain below 10 degrees centigrade, okay. So after 10 degrees centigrade, until that you have to stir it properly, okay, and during the stirring the temperature will fall down on the ice bath, okay. After temperature below 10, then you have to add the mixture of that is 7.5 gram of sodium nitrate, okay, in 15 ml of water, okay. You have to take the mixture or you have to prepare a mixture that is 7.5 gram of sodium nitrate in 15 ml of water, and then these solutions of sodium nitrate then you have to add into this orthophenylene diamine solution when the temperature fall down up to 10 degrees centigrade, okay. So let us do this step now. Now you have to place this solution on ice bath, okay, and also you have to stir it properly time to time, okay. So you have to stir this solution properly, okay, mechanically or by using the magnetic stirrer you can also stir this solution, okay. So meanwhile you have to stir this solution, okay. So you have to stir this solution by using stirrer, okay. So the orthophenylene diamine it will be mixed again properly, okay. So mechanical stirring should be there like this, okay. And then you have to also measure the temperature by using thermometer, okay. By using thermometer you have to measure the temperature, okay. So the temperature should be 10 below 10 degrees centigrade, okay. This is thermometer, you can see you have to maintain the temperature about 10 degrees centigrade, okay. So first of all you have to place this thermometer into this solution, okay, and after few minutes you have to check the temperature. If it is below 10 degrees centigrade, then you have to add the mixture of sodium nitrate and water in one portion into this solution, then you have to stir it properly. Okay, so after additions of sodium nitrate solution, this solution or mixture become warm. Okay, and the temperature will reaches about 85 degrees centigrade. Okay, and after some times the temperature will fall down about 30 to 40 degrees centigrade. Okay, so let us do the cooling of this solution up to 10 degrees centigrade. Now meanwhile you have to prepare the next solution or mixture, that is sodium nitrate solution. Okay, so first of all you have to take 15 ml of water. Okay, so this is 15 ml of water, you can see. Then you have to add into this 250 ml of beaker. Okay, after that you have to add 7.5 gram of sodium nitrate, okay, into this beaker, and then you have to stir it to dissolve the sodium nitrate solids. Okay, so let us do this next step, that is preparation of sodium nitrate solution. So first of all 15 ml of water you have to add into the beaker. I have added 15 ml of water. Okay, then you have to add 7.5 gram of sodium nitrate. Okay, this is 7.5 gram of sodium nitrate I am adding. Okay, so here I have added into this beaker. Okay, in once, like this I have added sodium nitrate solution. Now we have to shake it properly to dissolve the sodium nitrate solution mixed solids, okay, into this solution or into the water. If solids not dissolve, then you have to stir it. Stir well to dissolve the sodium nitrate solids. Okay, so let us dissolve these sodium nitrate solids into water. Now all sodium nitrate solids are dissolved into this solution or into the water, you can see. Okay, into water sodium nitrate solids are get dissolved. Okay, after stirring and in water these sodium nitrate solids are dissolved. Okay, now the next step it is you have to maintain the temperature of this first solution, phenylene diamine solution, below 10 degrees centigrade. Okay, this is thermometer, you can see. So you have to maintain the temperature about 10 degrees centigrade. Now it is near about 10 degree. Okay, near about 10 degree. Now after below 10 degree, then you have to add this particular sodium nitrate solution. So you have to add this sodium nitrate solution. Okay, so you have to add this sodium nitrate solution in this particular orthophenylene diamine solution. Okay, in once or in one portion. Then you have to stir it properly and the temperature will rise about 85 degrees centigrade. Okay, so let's do this next step of the practical. Now the temperature of this solution it reaches to 10 or below 10 degrees centigrade. We have maintained the temperature of this solution of orthophenylene diamine. Okay, now let us do the next step, that is we will add this sodium nitrate solution in one portion. Then we will stir it properly. First of all, after the additions of this sodium nitrate solution into the orthophenylene diamine, so there is an increase in temperature. Okay, and the color of the solution dark brown to changes to pale brown. Okay, and after that the temperature will fall down about 30 to 40 degrees centigrade. Okay, then after additions of this sodium nitrate solution to orthophenylene diamine solution, then we will mix this solution properly and then we will keep this solution on ice water bath for further 30 minutes. Okay, so we will cool this solution further 30 minutes on ice bath after the additions of sodium nitrate solution. Okay, so let us add this sodium nitrate solution. Okay, so this is sodium nitrate solution, so you have to add in one portion. Okay, so I have added in one portion. Okay, now the particular solution you have to shake it. Okay, now the color it is changes, now the temperature it is rises from, the temperature now it is rises Okay, now it is reach about 80 degree centigrade, then it is fall down for 30 to 40 degree centigrade. Okay, now after this additions of this sodium nitrate, we will keep this solution for further 30 minutes on ice bath. Okay, let us do this step now. So the temperature of this solution, it become warms after the additions of sodium hydroxide. You can see there is a formations of the vapors after the heating, or sorry, after the uh, increase the temperature of this solution. Okay, so some vapors are released or evaporates, or formations of the vapors after the temperature it is increases of this solution. Okay, now we will now the temperature will fall down after a few minutes up to 30 to 40 degree centigrade. Then we will place this solution further for cooling for ice bath for 30 minutes. Okay, so let us do this next step. Now after the additions of this sodium nitrate, okay, into the solution, the temperature of orthophenylene diamine solution was increased about 80 to 85 degree centigrade. Okay, and the color was dark brown. Okay, the solution color was dark brown after the increased temperature about 80 to 85 degree centigrade. Okay, now after some few minutes, the temperature was fall down about 30 to 40 degree centigrade, and the color of solution also change. That is, now we have the pale brown color. Now we have the pale brown color, you can see here. Okay, now after temperature 30 to 40 degree centigrade of this solution, and temperature and the particular color changes from dark brown to pale brown, now we have to keep this solution on ice bath for 30 minutes for further cooling. Okay, so let us do this cooling for 30 minutes, further 30 minutes of this solution. Okay, okay, after 30 minutes cooling on ice bath, you can see we get the well good yield crystals of or solids of the benz triazole. Okay, and it is pale brown. Okay, you can see these are the pale brown crystals. Okay, we get the pale brown crystals, you can see. Okay, so this is our final compounds, we get the pale brown crystals. Okay, now it is impure, so first of all we will filter it. Okay, or we will take on this filter paper. Okay, and then we will wash with ice cold water 3 times. Okay, we will take 30 ml of ice cold water, and we will wash these crystals. Okay, wash these crystals on this particular filter paper. Okay, with ice cold water. After that, washing with ice cold water, then we will transfer these solids on from filter paper to beaker. Okay, containing 130 ml of water. Then we will add to this particular mixture some amount of, or some gram of, or 0.1 gram of activating charcoal. Then we will boil this solution. Okay, until the solid dissolve, and then after that we will filter the solution, and after the filtration we will cool the filtrate. Okay, the liquid filtrate. Then after cooling this liquid filtrate, we get our final compound. Okay, so let us do this next step. Okay, after the filtration and after taking this mixture and solids on this filter paper of the benz triazole or benzotriazole, now the next step it is washing these crystals to remove the impurities by ice cold water. Okay, so this is ice cold water, you can see. So I am washing these solids on filter paper. Okay, like this. Okay, so you have to thoroughly wash these crystals or solids like this. Like this, you have to wash this with cold ice cold water, so that there is a removal of the impurities from this benzo triazole solids. Okay, like this. You have to wash this all crystals with ice cold water. Okay, so this washing will remove the impurities from these solids. Okay, then we get the pure solids in some extent, like this. Okay, you can see it is now become somewhat again pale yellowish color. Okay. Okay, now after that, washing with cold water. Now we will transfer these solids into beaker. Okay, then we will add 130 ml of water and activating this charcoal, and then we will boil this mixture to dissolve the solids. After dissolved solids, we get the clear solution, and after the getting solution, after warming, so we will filter this solution, and after filtration we get the filtrate, okay, in liquid form. So we will cool this filtrate, so it then there is the formation of the pure benzotriazole crystals. Okay, so let us do the that is this step, it is called as the recrystallization with boiling water of this impure benzotriazole or crude benzotriazole. Okay, so let us do this practical now, or let us do this step now. Now you can see I have transferred these solids, okay, of benzotriazole, crude solid benzotriazole into beaker. Then I have also added 130 ml of water. Also I have added, that is this activating charcoal. Okay, and after that I am mixing this solution properly. Okay, then I am heating this solution for boiling. Okay, so after some few minutes, the solution will mixture will warm and the solid will get dissolved. Okay, so after the dissolve the solids, we get the solution. Okay, and after solution, then we will transfer this solution into the filtration assembly. Okay, then we will filter this solution. Okay, so after the filtration we get the filtrate, and this filtrate then we will cool for further formations of the pure crystals of the this benzotriazole. Okay, so that will be our recrystallized benzotriazole or pure form of benzotriazole. Okay, so let us do this next step of recrystallization of benzotriazole. Okay, now after boiling these solids of crude benzotriazole into water and with activating charcoal, so we get the this solution. Okay, the solids are now dissolved. Okay, and so we get the this solution. Okay, now after warming, so this warm solution we have to filter it. Okay, so let us do the filtrations of this warm solution. So after the filtration we get the filtrate, and this liquid filtrate then we have to cool. Okay, so let us do the filtrations of this warm solution. Okay, so I am doing filtration, okay, of this warm solution. You can see I have filter out all the this benzotriazole crude solution. Okay, crude benzotriazole solution, triazole solution. Okay, like this. So all solution I have filter out. Okay, okay, now we get this filtrate. Okay, now we get this filtrate. Now this filtrate you have to cool for further next 30 minutes. Okay, until you get the solids. Okay, so the solids will be pure recrystallized solids of benzotriazole. Okay, that will be our final actual compound. Okay, so let us do the cooling of this filtrate so that we get the final crude and pure we get the pure benzotriazole crystals. Okay, now let us cool this filtrate, okay, on ice bath, and after some minutes or after few minutes or after some times we get the solids again of this particular benzotriazoles. Okay, so we will wait for few minutes until we get the solids, and we will keep this filtrate on this ice bath for cooling so that we get the crystals again. Okay, so let us do this step. Now after the cooling the filtrate we get the solids. Now I have filtered out these solids, okay, of pure benzotriazole. Okay, now after that I will do the next step, that is the taking melting points, and after taking melting points the next step will be the practical yields. Okay, so I will take the weight of this final compound benzotriazole, then we will get the practical yield. Okay, now this practical yield and the weight of this compound we will use into the formula for the calculations of the percent practical yield. Okay, so that will be our next step, that is the calculation part. That is, first we will calculate the theoretical yield, then we will put the practical yield, and after that we will calculate the percent practical yield. Okay, so that will be the calculation part, and after that we will discuss the result. Okay, so let us do the next step.